So recently come across this post by British Hodl, where I was introduced to this new instrument, MSTY. So in this post he talks about a guy who's in Dubai, 4 million in Bitcoin cold storage, and he was struggling a bit. This guy he's talking about to kind of meet his monthly expenses. So British Hodl advised to him to move some of the money to MSTY. MSTY, which we'll talk more about in a minute, is an instrument built on top of MSTR. I'm a big fan of MSTR, by the way, just so that you know. And as Michael Saylor talks about it, how volatility is life, how you need to harness the volatility and whatnot. MSTY seems to be doing that. MSTY pays out a dividend with the underlying MSTR stock. He sells options. I'm not an expert on options at all. All I know is, MSTY does all the operations. So you don't have to know a whole lot about options either. They do it on their behalf and they pay out a dividend. So I looked into this a little bit more. So let's just finish this post here. So this guy moved 400K into cold storage. Now he has now off of the 400K he deposited, he got 26,000 dividend, and so on and so forth. And that 10% of that stack, 4 million, 400K that is, he moved to MSTY, will grow faster than the TradFi benchmark of QQQ and probably grow at 30-40% of MSTR's CAGR if he continues to pull out the dividend. I think that's the pivotal thing here. That and I'll talk more in detail about what I've found regarding MSTY. That you can't really use it as a you can't really consider it at par with MSTR. Somewhat obvious thing to say. There's added risk and whatnot. But you can use MSTY, it seems, as a faster than QQQ, faster than the stock's appreciation, slower appreciation than MSTR, but paying out a high dividend. I think the current dividend MSTY is paying is about 150% or so, and it pays out a dividend every month. So I think it's important to understand what are the options, and from that perspective, MSTY is a good option to explore. It would appear British Hodl has made a detailed video about this as well. I've not seen that. And you can buy it. This is the video here. You can go to British Hodl's Twitter page, X page, and then you can find that video there. Let's see what other people are saying. Okay, so now off to my research into this. Again, I'm not an expert. I just want to know, like, okay, I'm a fan of MSTR. MSTY is an option-based derivative ETF built on top of it. I like that it has correlation with MSTR, or let's say Bitcoin in that sense. I do like that part. What is called? It is Yield Max MSTR Option Income Strategy ETF, and then it is yield is 163.17 today. I mean, think about it this way, like this is way less riskier than some of the staking coins, staking yield and things like that, because although it is a block built on top of block like Bitcoin, on top of that there's MSTR, and on top of that is MSTY, so definitely there is some risk there, but it is still all Bitcoin based, way less riskier than anything else. Like you can look at it from that perspective, like Bitcoin is much more stable than altcoins, and it's giving a yield of 163.17 today. I mean, yield is variable depending on how price is going and whatnot. So I did some research based on mainly because ChatGPT and Grok. So what I found out was the YieldMax MSTR option income strategy ETF, MSTY, has a high correlation of 0.97. It is important to note, I think, however, it's not been out for a really long time. I think it was launched in 2024 sometime. If I can just make it work. Let's see. Yeah, 2024 Feb was when it was launched. I mean, it's not months, but it's like a year and few months. So it does have a high correlation, 0.97 with MSTR. It is important to note MSTY tracks. MSTR does not capture the full extent of MSTR's appreciation. For example, year-to-date period, MSTR achieved a return of 3.58, where MSTY's return is 1.15. I don't know whether that takes into account the dividend paid out and you reinvested the dividend. What would that be? This discrepancy is primarily due to MSTY's investment strategy, which involves generating income through covered call option on MSTR. While the strategy provides regular income, it also caps the potential upside. You'll see in a minute. I have more detailed analysis that I've done with Grok, asking pointed questions. Like, okay, it caps the potential. Like, how much capping is it? Like, what percentage of MSTR appreciation could you expect? And things like that. We'll talk about it in a minute. In summary, MSTY offers investor exposure to MSTR's performance with added benefit of income generation. So this is straight out of ChatGPT, guys. So if you do a pro and con, MSTY indirect exposure, covered call option, it does give you income without selling anything. No dividend income on MSTR. Capital appreciation is limited. I think that goes back to British Hodel's point that it's faster than QQQ, but slower than MSTR, but does give you an income. Volatility is lower than MSTR due to options. Risk of large losses is less compared to MSTR. Correlation is pretty high with MSTR. Tax efficiency, depending on what is your tax jurisdiction, getting paid out on dividend may not be the most tax efficient thing. But if you're living in Dubai, just like that guy was, I don't know what the Dubai tax laws are, but I do know like it's pretty low overhead. Okay, so then cost seems to be high, around 0.99, much higher than other ETFs. Suitable for income-focused investor who want to reduce risk. The way I would say it is, it's suitable for people who believe in Bitcoin, MSTR, but also have a need to fund their day-to-day operation. So I think the split in the original thread, I think is a pretty good split. 10% stack, move it to this sort of thing. It may not appreciate as much as MSTR, but it will give you some income. Now, I asked Grok some more pointed questions, which let's see if we can get